Okay, so that's gonna be another one of your things you're gonna have here. So, you're gonna take your saline, twist off the top. You're gonna hold this underneath. Okay, and I want you to do this. You're gonna start in the center, and you are going to irrigate from the center out. Okay, now, what I need you to do, because this is a plastic bum, is I need you to dry this. All right, if you had to dry your patient, you'd be using a sterile 4x4. Typically, you don't have to dry your patient, but I need you to dry this one. So just do that for me, okay? But typically, you're gonna catch it, and I want you to practice the irrigating from the inside out. Again, throw it away. So that's the first thing, is irrigate. Always from the center out, clean to dirty, top to bottom, whatever your wound presents, okay? The second thing you're gonna do, and this might be the first thing to trip you up, is the culture. Here's what I'm gonna tell you about culture. Every time you change a dressing on a wound, and you know we don't use those every never words, I'm using it. Every time you change a dressing on a wound, get a culture. With or without the order. There's one time I'm gonna tell you to do it with or without the order. If the doctor wants a culture, you're gonna know before you go in there. If he wrote the order, you'll take it with you and you'll do it. Even if there is no order for a culture, you are going to get one. And here's the reason why. Anybody know the reason why?
Dr. Glassworthy.
So I go in and I change this dressing and I don't get a culture because there's no order for one, and I'm a nurse, follows the rules, right? And I come out and a half an hour later the doctor comes in, or 5 minutes later, and I'm like, man, that wound didn't look so good. Did you get a culture? Guess what? We're starting from the beginning. 4 chunks, 3 sets of gloves, 2 steps from the beginning. Get the culture every time. So, and forgetting all the steps you have to go through, we're torturing this patient again with another dressing change. Get a culture every single time. If they don't want it, if there's no order for one, if nobody decides it, you throw it away. I would rather you throw this away than go back in and go through all this again and put your patient through this trauma again. Get a culture every time, okay? It is sterile. This culture right now, as it stands, is sterile. You're gonna peel it open from the top. Remember, with everything medical that opens, everything peels. We don't rip or tear, we peel. This kit peels. The sterile gloves peel. The applicator peels. Everything has a special spot. So if you're struggling to peel, it might not be the right spot. Everything peels, okay? So you're gonna peel this open. Now that it's open, and this is how I do it, and I'd like you to do it this way until you're on your own and figure out your own way. Keep it in this package, okay? Put your hand around it. The only thing that needs to be sterile at the end of the day is the Q-tip on the end of this, right? This doesn't have to be sterile on the outside, but right now everything is, okay? You're gonna take your Q-tip. You must tell me this, you are going to swab the granulated tissue. What is granulated tissue?
Healing red tissue.
I didn't hear you, what?
Healing red tissue.
The healing red tissue. Now, why are we culturing the healing red tissue? So you're gonna go like this, and you're gonna do some circles and some swabs. You don't just wanna wipe it, you wanna do some circles, right? Hit a couple different places. Why aren't we swabbing the black or where the goo was? Why aren't we doing that?
Because it's dead tissue, it's gonna have bacteria.
First of all, dead tissue is dead tissue, right? And second of all, chances are, unless this is the very, very brand new wound that just happened, which this is not, right? If it's a brand new wound and the patient is septic and they're trying to figure out why, and they're gonna culture everything, you would culture the goo. We need to know what's in here, what's growing, what antibiotics do we need. At this point, when you can see we're starting to heal, it's not about what antibiotic we need. It's not about the goo. Besides, you've irrigated, there really shouldn't be any exudate. I use the word goo, right? There shouldn't be any exudate for you to swab at this point. Because number one, this is an old wound. And number two, you've irrigated and cleaned it. So you need to swab the granulated tissues so they can culture this and make sure it's healing well. So that's kind of a little counterproductive to a student, right? You're gonna swab the granulated healing tissue. Now, here's where it gets tricky, and some of y'all, hopefully not, are gonna do this now.